Weston.
Yes.
Dow is absent. Hardinger.
Here.
Gemlin.
Here.
Wyman. Here.
And I'll call the Board of Trustees to order and welcome, and if we could do roll call.
Roland.
Here.
Ermeling.
Here.
Feeny. Absent. Hardinger.
Here.
Mahoney.
Here.
Wyman. Here. Sagani.
Did he call? No.
No.
I know Nate called and said he wasn't gonna make it, but I didn't hear nothing from Zagami.
Nate called?
Nate called and said he wouldn't be able to make it again. But from here on out, he should be able to make it, so.
I think you said that last time.
Yep. So, it's your meeting, Jamie, so you can call for, the minutes.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yes. Next on the agenda, approval for minutes from previous meeting, June 20th, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been approved. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Do we have any public comments?
Anybody online, Nate? Online.
Number 6. Agenda. Again, budget status report.
We had a narrative in our packet. Is there any questions on it? So far, everything's going pretty good. Obviously, the big ones again are the fuel, so that's a little something we'll keep an eye on, but we do have other expenditures that are running low. Year to date, the total expenditures, we have 54% left to spend of our budget. We're only 50% for the year. Revenues, we have 24% left to collect. Most of that is our state shared revenue, which we have not received any payments yet, and that's over $1 million.
When does that usually come in? Like now?
The first part, I think it's next month, just a small portion, and then the majority of our shared revenue comes in November.
Thank you.
Is there any questions on any other funds?
There's been a request, Keith, I don't know, but we're gonna get a report on where we are with the attorney for the year. Probably next
The
time.
report is that we're at 42% of the year and 41.5% of the budget for general fund.
Okay,
So the attorney, we did not get June costs until July. So actually, I think I put that in my narrative that we actually only have through April in there.
okay, okay,
We were behind on the
Missed it.
billing.
okay.
That's definitely an item that we need to watch too. Reflected through April, attorney bills are 41% of the year.
Okay. And our budget for the year is?
I think it's $40,000.
I thought it was 40 something, okay. All right, thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Motion's been approved. Any more in discussion? No remarks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passed. Number 7 on the agenda, TIP 1 and TIP 2, detailed report for June.
There's nothing really special with those this month. Does anyone have any questions? Majority was.
I'll take it down 20 degrees.
That should.
Okay.
Did they lose internet?
I still have it.
Okay,
I still have it, yep.
Song and I are white.
What happened?
At the Weston.
Want my paper copy? I'm just trying to help.
Unless there's questions.
Nope, okay.
Motion to approve?
Well, do we have,
I'm sorry.
Jessica, did you have a report for the TIF one, TIF two?
Pardon?
Did you have a report or a presentation for TIF one and TIF two details?
No, they should be in the packet.
Or anything you wanted to go over?
No, I don't think so. It's similar to last year, the majority of the expenditures in those two are payroll.
That's what I saw too.
Sorry, Steve?
I'm good.
Oh,
And so do we have a motion to approve?
acknowledge detail. Just a motion to acknowledge.
Okay, motion to acknowledge.
A motion to acknowledge.
Second. You go, give it to him.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. Number 8, discussions and possible recommendations on ARPA funds.
So this was discussed at last finance meeting. We had come up with more of a longer list of potential recommendations on where monies could be used from our ARPA allocation. I think some of this is really still more in a philosophical sense to try to work on, closer estimates, better estimates on what the dollars might be. I guess one example being like for our new building, that the salt budget has been coming in over what the original estimate was in the budget, primarily due to cost increases in materials and supply chain issues. So there is a bid that's being prepared, another bid package that's being prepared for the salt shed options, which is supposed to be done in September. So, we don't necessarily have a firm number on what that's gonna be yet. Again, we have $400,000 in our budget for that in the project as it stands. As we said, we went into this project with about a 2.25% contingency, which is very low. So some other items have been kind of pointed out here. We had a vandalism incident during the construction project last weekend. Now, projects under construction seem to be a target. It was a window that got a BB shot through it, or a pellet gun or something. Anyway, I guess just let us look at where we had placed, and decided we should place cameras, and maybe we should put some extra security cameras around the garage shop area. Right now, we focused on the office area only. I guess so it's just, in general, kind of a explanation of what, we might be looking at here with some of these contingency items. We had the recommendation on the additional items of the public safety building. We had a budget estimate have a budget estimate from the architect, which the extra thought of the 550,000 comes from, but we still don't have a bid yet. As you know, we're focusing on the exterior right now. We'll be coming back with the interior bid package later.
Sorry, Keith, when's the next meeting with the architects for that building?
We didn't necessarily set one up, but they were supposed to have the plans for the exterior. They're supposed to have those completed towards the end of this month. I think I have it in my report for the board. I don't remember I think they were anticipating releasing those for bidding around the 1st of August. So we'll give another kick at them and we can share them with you, as they get those better developed and better ready for, say more than 75% level, I think was their target date, or target milestone, I should say.
Can we just back up a little bit on the 400 grand for the salt shed? So we purposely, with the advice of the architect and ourselves, we purposely kept it out of the process and put a $400,000 bid on it, or a, budget, because we thought we could do it cheaper. And now we can't,
Well,
and we can't move the shed, right? That's the conversation I remember.
Moving the shed is still one of the options that is gonna be bid.
Okay, so with that, and now it's gonna be more because, the sign bid with Myron holds. And it's apparently gonna hold with, no matter what the costs are. But the salt shed, because we pulled it out, now we're,
It was
gonna
an
get caught.
alternate bid
Yep.
item, and
Yeah, I remember
the
that.
lowest bid for that, which Myron had the bid for it in their original bid. We elected not to award
Right.
that alternate because it came in over.
Yep.
Well, over the budget estimate.
Yep, or moving it, yep. So let's say we market this area, we're not gonna move, we don't need the salt shed this year, correct? Or may not? So we could,
At the new site, we could still, I guess, we are going into this winter with the understanding we're gonna be utilizing this salt
Right.
shed, yeah.
unless we get a great offer for this site and they want it all cleared, who knows? But, is there, instead of having to build this and maybe waiting a whole year to possibly, stuff comes down, is there another way we could, partner with somebody else with salt? Does somebody, close have salt that we could, utilize for 1 year? Not this year, but next year. So that maybe we could get it for a lot cheaper, or build it or move it or whatever. I'm just a thought, so.
I guess my thing is, I would like to see when the bid comes in for, see if we can
Oh,
move the one
yep,
we have.
sure.
Because I would think you would be able to move it for a lot less than,
Well, there's something to do with the base and the cement. The cement is not supposed to be there or something, and it's supposed to be in the ground more with the wood. I don't remember all of it.
Yeah, there's metal,
Yeah,
there's metal plates
Yeah.
or bolts.
I just don't think we have to act that fast. That we have a little bit of cushion unless somebody aggressively wants this site, to go, which hopefully they do, and then pushes us. So enough said on that, I guess.
But just for clarification, we can still use what we have here this winter.
That's our plan
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
If somebody doesn't kick us out.
right.
nice problem.
Yeah, it'd be a nice problem to have, is right.
I guess we'll just have to deal with that then.
I'm not on the board, but do we know who our neighbors are that have an excess amount of salt storage facility?
Don't know that. Yeah.
Are referring to possibly Cronenwetter or Mosinee or?
That's the first name that popped up in my head was Cronenberger.
Yeah.
They've got the most road miles.
Yeah, the logistical hard part is, there's salt sheds nearly on Highway 153.
Yeah.
Our salt trucks fill up 2-3 times throughout a snow event.
Yep.
So, it would probably almost be more advantageous looking at, a Rothschild or Schofield, who maybe doesn't have the same capacity, but would have,
But maybe more deliveries.
yeah, we'd have to finagle that. And then I guess, I just looked up what the cost was initially with Myron for their salt shed, and it was $595,485.
For a brand new one.
That was for a new one, as part of their original bid.
Did we get a bid to move it at all yet, or no?
No, so we're bidding 3 different options. One is to move it, one is more of like a concrete structure, and one is like a wood structure. So there's three different scenarios that will be bid, and then we can pick based on those results.
Do we have an anticipated amount if we were to move it?
I don't know, they're checking out the structural ability of it, because some of the columns are rusted or rotted out, and
Okay.
so there is, more to it than just being able to
Like, I
level over
understand.
some of the ground, and, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
just thought I'd ask.
So I guess backing up a little bit on this, of course, we committed 440,000, 220,000 apiece to the Everest Metro and to Safer. We have taken action to approve going forward with a strategic plan, so tonight's meeting has the proposal and the contract with Craig Rapp Consulting Group. So I guess, so going down the line, I guess we were asked to put some priorities on this, suggested priorities for this meeting, so that's what was done here. As far as the things that we want to recommend funding, I know we're gonna have to find this leak at the aquatic center. Sean has really not had a lot of time, I think, to look into this stuff because of the involvement at the aquatic center at this point in time. We want to get these security equipment for the parks. I guess I call it a placeholder at this point. We need a better number on what that AV stuff is gonna cost, or the cameras. And meet with police chief in terms of what type of equipment he might like or might recommend.
Can we get I'm sorry, Keith, can we get, because we talked about that, I don't know if it was last meeting or the one before now, for the security equipment for the parks. I think we've had one meeting since we initially brought it up as something that we wanted to review, wanted to take a look at what our options were and integrating it with the local law enforcement, their ability to be able to look at those cameras. And is there any way that we can put, like by the August meeting, we have something to look at for that topic?
Sure.
I mean, because I don't know who, I feel like if we don't put a date on it, it's just gonna keep sitting there, because I understand everybody's busy, but somebody's gotta get tasked with that responsibility, and we need to have a date with it.
Yeah, we'll get that addressed tomorrow at our staff meeting.
Thank you.
So what, just for clarification for myself, so you're asking for like, a low, medium and a high bid for the security, and then what costs would be associated with those? You know, do we want inexpensive, or do we want the Cadillac, or somewhere in between?
Yeah, because they have.
Just put some numbers to what's available out there.
Because I know that Nate, I believe there's 3 different systems within the Weston municipality that either law enforcement or the village. And I know that when we brought this up, we were hoping that whatever system that we use would be one that could be tapped in by law enforcement so they could see it real time in their squad cars, was one of the suggestions.
Right.
I know that, I think our facility has a different system and,
I guess I was gonna ask a question anyway, because I had heard, I wasn't at that meeting, but I had heard that the direction was to work with RMM Solutions, and then Dave's comment, my question was, are we looking to go to bid on that? Or was the direction?
Solutions? Who?
What's that?
What solutions? What?
RMM, I guess that was the preference, was
Is that-
RMM Solutions.
Is R&M with the police?
I guess that was Chief Schultz's preference.
Okay. I mean, I mean, they're the ones that have the teeth. I mean, why wouldn't we stay with the police? Whatever they recommend, whatever they monitor.
I guess that was my question is, are we bidding that out for a low price, or are we just sticking with that one? I guess we were looking for a little more direction on that, as far as, because typically with most projects, we like to.
I think part of it too is it kind of started with the parks, but because the law enforcement would be monitoring it, I asked specifically if somebody from Clay's department, if he could kind of section somebody off to work with parks, so they kind of work together, come up with what they need,
Sure.
platform that we need to operate it on, so we could kind of take it from there and
Right.
figure out what our options are.
Yep.
So, that's the problem, because you got the cops, monitoring it, but it's really coming from the parks, but they're dealing right now, 110 miles an hour with everything that they're doing.
Right.
So my suggestion was, let's just get somebody from Everest Metro who is familiar with these systems, understands them, how they operate, and help us make that decision or put together the plan.
Okay, yeah, I reached out to Clay last week on it. And
Okay.
gave me a number for RMM.
Okay, so,
I haven't had the opportunity that, I guess I haven't talked with.
so not to put you in the hot seat, but I mean, you are kind of the IT guy, so.
Right, yeah.
Is there any way that within a month, you might be able to work with parks, work with them, figure out what this package looks like? Or bring them in, so at least we got an idea, okay, if we need 30 cameras, 40 cameras, 50 to cover our parks, give,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I talked to the chief and he said he was only interested in the skate park.
I know Kennedy's like the high priority, but
Right, we have camera, like as you were alluding to, we have cameras there that were done with the project 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And as we've learned,
kind of useless at this point.
it's such a large park, you need to have, I don't know how many cameras you would need if you're looking over.
But I think
footage.
that's not something that we should have to make that decision on. The people who have this,
Right.
the hardware and the software that operate these things are gonna tell us, you're gonna need X amount for this square footage to be able to cover your angles. That's kind of what they do.
Right.
So I think we just need to get them in here maybe.
Sure, yeah.
Or have that conversation, say, hey, give me a ballpark, what this is gonna cost, what's gonna take, give me a timeline. You know, if we got the good, you know, like Dave was saying, the good, better, best option
Mhm.
for what this package looks like and how long it's gonna take to get in here.
Sure.
It's been a couple months now, so we need to, somebody's gotta take the ball and run with it.
Great, I can do that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
I think we had talked about locks for the bathrooms too.
Yes, mechanical locks, time locks.
Time locks, yes.
Yes. So that was an option, that would be an option, and it's obviously not gonna go through them, somebody else, but Amazon locks, I don't know. Cause, you know, Mike, I'm sure you guys could, so I swap out a lock on one of these doors, these things are not hard.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need like some big contract to go around, you know, replacing these things.
Yeah, I know the hardest part with the locks is not every bathroom has power to it.
They're battery, well, most of them are battery operated that, you know, I mean, we can figure it out. So,
Yeah, I know Sean was looking into those at one point.
yeah. And if it's just as simple as I think it's a time lock that they have.
Are we going through this?
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. I just don't want to skip over number 2. So have we gone through this and we're all the way at parks right now?
I'm just running down for a little bit of
Yeah.
summary on each one.
Okay.
And if you have other questions, that's fine. I guess
Okay.
maybe the thing that perhaps would give us, you know, better clarity, if you're okay with the prioritization, say on the first page, and I know we have other money available and.
I am concerned with the 500 number 2. You know, that's been a topic of my conversation for quite a while because I questioned the 250,000 from the get-go. And then when the EMPD comes in, you know, with $1 million, 1 or 2, and 350,000 is on their contingencies, and we have a $16 million building and only 250. So I think it'd be a little silly to put $500,000 on there now. I truly want to hold to what was voted on. And if it's 250 as a contingency and it's got to go higher than that, we got to make some hard choices on what's got to get cut at that municipal center. I don't want to spend $1 more on what's there. Not $1. And that should have been there in the bid, not now. Because we throw $500,000 on there, it will get spent.
Yeah, they'll eat it.
It'll absolutely get spent. And I don't want to give them that window. I just don't. And I think that's the wrong thing to do right there. I really do. And then, if you, the leak, the parks, the moving, the shredding, prepare this site and redevelopment, and then you go down to the parks, number 8, park master plans, you know, so we're talking $40,000 for master plans. I don't know what a master plan is compared to a strategic plan. But a strategic plan is $35,000 for our entire village, but yet we're gonna spend $40,000 for 3 parks. And then, you know, the costs on Prohaska, I mean, is it the right time? I know it's sitting there. I know it's not a park yet, but is it the right time to do that one and, you know, get it going on the other side of the highway like that? Organizational study, a compensation study, there's another 50 grand there. And then I'm assuming that the successor would be just the payroll for the 4th quarter for a different, for a replacing the administration, right?
That's
Okay.
what I would envision it to
Okay.
be if that's something else to be done. The one thing I thought I had on there originally, I guess I missed it, was any costs relative to referendum
Yeah,
question.
referendum too. I mean, so we have done nothing with the referendum and the other municipalities are wondering what we're doing here.
We've done as much as Schofield at this point. We've adopted a resolution or a contract to
Okay.
help define or help the frame the question that would have to be asked.
Okay. So we've contacted Lisa
Yeah.
at Schofield?
That's, well, we know that that's the case from,
But have we talked to Lisa at Schofield?
I have not talked to her since we had the meeting. but-
Okay. Because I think that's gotta start happening. And I'll be certainly the one to do it if you want.
So, last information exchange was Jessica to Clay with estimates on
Mhm.
numbers of officers.
Mhm.
And I think Clay felt it was something we still, he's in the process of negotiations right now.
Okay.
So,
So are you talking about the contract?
yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. So, and what is the timeline that this has to be spent or does not have to be spent?
It has to be, we have till 2026, but it has to be we have to have a contract for it by 2024.
Okay. I mean, I know a lot of municipalities are, it's almost like a brag board on what they're doing with the ARPA funds. But I have no problem in 2 years, till 24, to leave some sitting there. I just don't think we have to rush to it if we have some kind of an emergency or something that we gotta get ourselves out of a pickle. And, I mean, just to see, and I know the media wants to see it and they wanna see this litany of different projects, LED lighting for street lights, skate park, this and that. I don't think we have to, formally name all this and, come up with a list. But
Well.
that 500,000 one is really troublesome for me, number 2. So, I mean, we talked about that at length, and that was not an issue, and now it's becoming an issue. So, and as we get tighter, I'm just kind of sitting back and just gonna watch to see how this all goes with the finish. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm also curious about number 8 with the park master plans, like what are the details in that? And if we are using those types of funds for the parks, maybe we should upgrade the bathroom at Kennedy.
And that's generally what those master plans will do is the layout of the park correct? Do we wanna move bathrooms? Are the fields the right size? Is there an amenity that we don't have that we want? So that's.
I mean, there's a lot of traffic going through
Yeah.
there. There's 2 stalls.
Yeah.
The women's bathroom doesn't even have a hot knob
Yeah,
on the sink. I mean, it's pretty bad. And then if you wanna add locks to that, I mean, run power, get the locks, there's funds here.
I've been going by, and I'm, shame on me for not seeing the usage, but Kennedy, holy moly, over the weekend. I mean, holy mackerel, that pool was packed. We had parking all over there for both diamonds. I mean, people had tents up all over the place. The skate park was being used. People were walking, jogging around it. That is one intense park. I don't think it's time now to decide where a field should be or whether the bathrooms are in the right spot. I think where they are, they're there.
Yeah.
And now let's just add. So if we need another bathroom in a better location, let's pop that thing in there. But holy mackerel, is that some intense usage at Kennedy. I've never seen Mock Miller even close to that. And what am I thinking? One off of Fuller Street. I'm trying to Rogan. I'm trying to run to a bunch of them in my head right now. Prohaska's not even developed. So we've got number 9 for it, right? Prohaska's not developed, is it?
No, but that's one of the
Yeah, I know that's future. I know that.
people have
But
asked about moving forward on.
Yeah.
So, no,
yeah,
And there's travel ball that comes through there. I mean, we need.
yeah, we had, there's, the last 2 weekends, there was tournaments at Kennedy Park. I spent, not this past weekend, but the previous weekend, I spent 30 hours at the park maintaining the baseball fields.
volunteering?
Volunteering.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, there's teams from Eau Claire.
But you're involved in the baseball, right?
Yeah, I've got an 8-year-old.
Okay, that is, I'm telling you, I had goosebumps when I went by it this weekend.
Mhm.
I was just so proud to see the usage of that and the activity. It was just unbelievable. Hell, I could be a commercial right there.
So,
Yeah, it does, yes. And that's where the
More
master plan
so
comes
than
into play.
sticking something into for Haska right now.
Yeah,
Well, we're limited in space at Kennedy too, from what it sounds like it would max that thing out.
yeah, where?
Kennedy.
Oh, heavens, yes, yeah.
So is one of these other Is there any plan with any of our other parks to do something Kennedy-like as far as the fields and whatnot?
Kennedy is just so centered, so.
It is, it's a great location, you can't beat that.
Part of the problem with Kennedy is nothing's oriented in the right direction, so there is a lot of wasted space in between, you know.
Well, I would imagine that the baseball fields that would be probably a cheap fix. But moving water around, that's a little more, different.
I mean, we got a well and everything right there.
Yeah. You know, you got the creek running through it, you got the house on the other side.
Yeah.
What do you mean by moving water around? You're not talking about moving the aquatic center.
No, the creek goes through there, you can't touch that,
You can't touch that, but
you can't get across, so.
You got a bridge.
Yeah.
Hey, culvert.
But you're right, you could anchor one of those baseball fields up in the, what would be the east corner.
Yep.
You know, and hit out, because that's kind of vacant right there. But then that also maybe takes up some of your flexibility of the park too. But then aren't we removing, the Parks Department there? So that corner's gonna be gone?
They're moving to the, they're
Yeah,
gonna be based
so we're
on-
gonna gain that corner. All those buildings and shacks on the corner of the
the northwest corner.
side.
You still got a well house there though.
Yep.
Yeah, and all that was part of the facilities discussion too, because one of the water utility projects is to pump that water from Alta Verde over to Bladel where we would have a treatment plant. So we wouldn't need as intense of a utility building there either, moving forward. So part of that is, do we look at creating some kind of utility building / warming house for skating and kind of relook at that corner too. So I mean, there are other elements besides just a baseball field or a bathroom.
Right. Okay.
I think a park master plan for Kennedy would be,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that one for sure, yeah.
I don't think at this point, spending any money on Prohaska until we have more development out that way would be a wise
So,
decision. I think we're just opening ourselves up for vandalism out there and who's gonna police it?
I think we should take one project at a time.
yeah, Prohaska is
It's very
undeveloped, and then
limited.
Kellyland, what street is that on?
The thought of,
Rogan.
That's the road one by the dog park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
the
so
thought with,
but Kennedy sits at 15 and, you know, everyone's really close to Kennedy. I would think Kennedy would take the monster amount of master plan.
is that, Keith, what's that estimate from? Is that
we
just
had
ballpark?
there was some work done on some master plans in the past, though, it's kind of a ballpark, and I guess again, if we want that, we can get firm proposals. Just to, I guess, follow up on that though, the thought with Prohaska was that would be more of a passive use park for hiking, for the trails and
Kids fishing.
ponds, opening the ponds for fishing, that kind of thing.
I was gonna say, because that's very limited as to what you can do because of the water level and all the ponds.
Wetlands, right.
Why we haven't watered still beyond.
It doesn't sound like anything needs really to, you be making decisions on any of these, it's just more of a priority coming from you.
Right.
Well, I'm bringing what I'm perceiving to be the priorities, and I guess it would be good to have some direction that you're in agreement with the priorities, because we still have to refine some of the numbers, obviously, as we go forward.
Well, we
Kind
already
of budgetary in a lot of respects.
we already approved the strategic plan and the safer the EMPD that's basically been allocated to them, so couldn't we take those off here already?
I'm just trying to give you an idea where we are with the numbers, depending on what what's here, so.
But didn't we have some discussion last month about, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but as I remember, we definitely said the pool was something that has to get done. And the administration building with all the soft costs that could possibly need to be, I mean, I thought we had some discussion last month about, you know, why did we build a $15 million building if we can't put what we need to get the job done in it? That could suck up that whole amount. We might be talking about stuff that's not even an issue, just on those two things alone.
I think when you look at this list though, the $500,000 is for a contingency for the building itself, not for stuff to go inside of it. So if that's what we wanna do, we need to reword that.
No, maybe for the stuff related to the project.
I think you need to define, like, for me, the video setup, which was not budgeted, where are we getting the funds for the video cameras and everything set up in there? I mean, is
for
that
board-
gonna be additional, or is that your contingency?
The boardroom,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
I mean, I think for me, I'm confused because I really feel people think that's contingency and some people think it should be out of contingency, it's just a separate project.
Well, I'm sorry, Jessica, so like, the package didn't include basically kind of the video camera type setup that we have here,
Did it?
Correct, that was not bid out.
but we can't move what we have here over there?
We can move what we can over there. Can.
Okay.
But our audio has to be junked. We need that audio right there on that podium. On this single podium, we need the audio that Red Mountain has, that Safer has. I mean, it's hard to hear in here. When I was on, the planning last week, it was really, really hard to hear. To the point that I finally just hung up. I couldn't hear anymore. It was just too much. And it was also a long meeting, so. But, yeah,
Yeah, the telephone works much better rather than Zoom, I find.
yeah. I was on telephone.
Oh, you
No,
were?
that's what I did. I couldn't do it the other way. The telephone was the only thing I could actually hear.
Yeah, I can actually hear pretty good when I had it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, we better get a fast list on what's included or what's not, cause I thought a contingency was, you know, something with the building or something with this, not actual pieces of the interior. I would say that the video and stuff would, I guess it should have been included, but it wasn't. I mean, we're facing the same 1.1 million at the public safety. You know, public safety, we did what, 1.8 million from an 800,000 a couple years prior, and then now we're gonna spend another 1.1 million on the building. I mean, to find out that we spent 1.8 million on that building and then it didn't include the exterior and the paint and everything, I mean, that's just a shame. It really is, that was missed by the architect or whatever. And I'm gonna say the same thing with this building. This is a hell of a beautiful building. It's like a Frank Lloyd Wright building. It's getting a lot of conversation. And, you know, you start to wonder, 15-16 million should put up a pretty nice building, especially when 82% of it is a garage, technically, so. We just gotta see where Myron's gonna come in here. You know, if there's gonna be a big surprise at the end or not.
Is there should be a closeout checklist for Myron. How do we identify,
They'll be gone over before we would occupy the building.
right, how do we identify, I guess, before November, because is that still what they're looking at, like November, December?
September 26th is the week.
September 26th?
September 26th, there should be a weekly checklist right now.
2.5 months.
Yeah, there should be something that we can have to take a look at and see, kind of get ahead of whatever this is.
I mean, everything on the, everything should be on the table, right
We have
now.
a September bid on the salt shed.
Yeah,
We have a bid being prepared on the audio-visual stuff for the boardroom.
But-
So
yeah,
those are the,
but you know, you and I had a conversation about the switchgear, you know, that's whatever, 60 weeks, you know, to go and, or whatever, and then
I'll put it in a smaller,
yeah,
I have not gotten confirmation, but that's up to them. They can supply a smaller breaker for the interim. And then there'd have to be some switch on of that, day we're not in operation.
completely their cost.
Right.
Okay,
It wouldn't be a-
but there's no garage doors on the back of that building. That door, that building is wide open.
Garage doors, I believe, are this week or next week. But those are all required to be there before we move in.
I've just been part of grocery stores, Keith, you and I have talked about it, and I'm telling you, when it gets down to this kind of timing, and I know it's gonna cost some money, but we've got security guards in these buildings because it can completely knock you out. A couple sledgehammers or a bunch of paint, it can just mess you up so bad. And I know a grocery store is different because it's, you gotta turn it on and then start making some money to start paying it back. I know this is government, but it'll knock the crap right out of us if somebody does some, it's summertime and it's idle time and, they can, is there a fence on the east side, on the tree line?
There's a fence all the way around.
All the way around.
Site for
Completely?
construction.
Okay, right. Cause I can just, I don't know what that road is, down by Kennedy,
There'll be a fence around it when it's done.
but there is one around the entire thing now.
Right.
Okay. Even on the tree side, in the back of the building, on the east side, the whole length.
North,
Yep.
east, west.
Okay, okay, good.
Um,
I have a question. There's an architect on this building project?
Yes.
Is that person still overseeing the project, or they
yes,
should be submitting reports to determine what level of completion they are and what has to be done yet?
Yeah, that's what,
right, that's how it's working.
And they're giving us, he's giving us, the September 27th move.
December 26th has been the date selected for the occupancy. It meets their contract time, slightly ahead, and that's the date that we had arranged for furniture to be delivered. So we have to move that week. And, vacate this site, or this building, I guess, essentially, as far as our operation goes.
And weekly, we're talking about that, and he's constantly on September 27th, because,
Right.
I mean, I just,
We're going over.
yeah, there should be a penalty if they're late, right?
There's provisions for.
It's liquidated damages.
Yeah, is there like a $500 a day liquidated damages?
For sure. Yes.
okay, I asked that, and I didn't think.
Yeah, it should be. I think, is the Gantt chart lining up with their completion date?
Yes.
Okay. Are you doing a lot of it, Mike?
Yeah, between Keith and I mean, they update their, CPM schedule, weekly provided to us.
That's through Myron and the architect, or the architect's acting as a CM over the project, aren't they?
Myron is. So the architects oversee, is kind of the inspector on it.
So are you advocating that we arrange to get some security guards?
No, I'm just cautioning. So, I mean, I go by there every weekend, several times each day, and I don't see a lot of work going on. And so that must tell me, and I think it should tell everybody that we are completely fine with hitting that date, because otherwise they should be in there, Johnny on the spot, working and trying to get ahead. I would just cushion, for some of these utilities and some of these vendors and stuff, or Myron itself, I would be banking on trying to get out of there quicker. And, but, what do I know, so.
Is there a security system for that building like there is for this one?
There's a
I thought there was.
better security.
There isn't?
That building than this one. We have a couple of security
I
lines.
thought I saw a keypad.
Yeah, the new building will have keypads and.
Right.
When's the security system going in?
The banner's already wired out, the cameras.
So once the doors are all in, we should be able to arm the facility, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so when does that happen?
I don't know the date off the top of my head.
Because that would alleviate your concerns, Mark, as far as somebody getting in there in the middle of the night, nobody knowing about it. At least the building would be armed. If that's part of the project cost, then we could at least kind of push that. If the garage doors are the last ones coming in, you should have, the building should be wired up at that point then.
Yep.
So, and then we could just ask the chief or whatever, they're always on Camp Phillips anyway, but.
True.
Thing is, building is not ours yet. Building is not ours yet. It's Myron building.
Right.
He's responsible for everything happening.
Well, I don't think he'd object to us making sure there's another.
No, you're right, but
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good point, though. It is technically his building until we take control of it.
Okay.
So because these are estimates, do we still do a motion to approve or do we
No.
do a motion to defer again?
I think we're just acknowledging, I don't think there was a motion involved with this at all. This is a presentation by the administrator. Yeah, you're looking for us.
You want to
Well, it says approve or not approve.
priorities of activities with, we'll certainly have to bring numbers back as we get contracts
So number three is,
Proposals.
so number three is we're just shifting money from CIP to ARPA, correct? You know, that 550,
So that would tie into the last item that Jessica had there, which was the other thing that finance committee took up last time. Whether or not we wanted to use part of the ARPA funds for CIP.
right,
And the thing with that is if you didn't have to borrow it, it's a savings on down the line.
well, doing this, public safety, I mean, we were just gonna back up CIP, correct? We weren't gonna continue with the CIP budget as is, we were gonna, whatever that 1,000,001 was,
We were supplementing what we had in CIP
right.
with what would come from ARPA.
Right.
The 550 is what we have shown there.
We want some better descriptions on what we're gonna do with number two, besides just contingency. I mean, do we want,
I don't wanna lay 500 grand, me personally, I don't wanna let Myron know that we would even consider it.
I don't either.
Nope.
No,
Nope.
to me, if it's out there, it's,
We voted on it, we took their contract, there was other contracts and we can't put a cushion in there. That's what it was, 250.
So
That's
should
what
we
it is
just pull it
agreed on.
out?
I think that should completely come off, yeah.
And just,
That's my.
just leave our balance higher, so if something comes up and we have to do it, then we can do it.
yeah, I mean, if
just
you
so-
gotta, you have to, I mean, you know.
But just so I understand it, we're not in any rush for that building right now either, right?
For what?
No,
That salt shed, we can use what we have, unless this building sells in the next couple of months or.
Somebody buys this and wants it
But
clear.
then, at that point, we could work with other local municipalities if we needed to. But that would be,
That'd be a great problem to have.
it wouldn't be a bad, you know.
Put this back on the tax
Cost
roll.
of construction projects right now, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea to just kind of wait, especially seeing as we have the ability to do that.
yep.
Okay. Okay. I'm good.
So,
So motion to approve the ARPA funds?
No, we'd probably just defer it,
Defer.
but I would,
That's my question.
I would suggest that number two gets pulled completely. That'd be my view.
And I
Other things that could be
I don't think we have to vote on it.
Absolute have to be done and defer the rest.
Right. I don't think we have to,
yeah, I don't think we have to, because again, we don't even know what the pool's gonna cost yet.
right,
I feel like staff will be coming to the board for
Right.
approval when we have something we want to use ARPA funds for.
right.
This priority list was really just a guidance.
Just guidance. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Well, I think, the security camera thing, you know, for the parks, Nate will bring us something on the next meeting. So that's something that we want to keep going with, and then,
We'll just keep this as a running agenda. We'll have
yeah,
it worded as discussion and possible recommendations. So next meeting for the finance committee, if we get the numbers for the video camera, we can recommend the village board approve ARPA funds for that use.
Yep. I agree.
And I didn't hear anybody, talking negatively about doing what we have to do with the pool.
No,
We just don't know what those numbers.
We just don't know the numbers yet. Yep.
yeah, we won't
I agree.
until what, late fall, until they shut it down, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
You can get a
Yeah.
contractor to-
close like the third week of August, so,
Really?
yeah.
Is that early? That feels like it's early.
It's pretty normal,
The college kids go
School
back to
starts
school.
and guards go back to school.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
It's not the weather.
What about the weekends? Is it just closed during the week then?
It's closed.
Closed?
Closed is closed.
Yeah, we can't put a sign there, swim at your own risk, high tide or no lifeguards.
Wow.
Climb the fence carefully.
I know, that's why it probably should have a roof with some garage doors.
I think we should. So sometime in September, we'll.
ARPA funds for that.
Yeah, there you go. Get some more use out of it.
We looked at that, you know.
All right, so 8, we're just gonna let sit, right? And have that a moving target type thing? Okay. All right,
I think that's.
Motion to approve.
No,
or
next meeting.
Defer.
we're just gonna go down to number 9.
Nine, next meeting date?
Let's see, next meeting date, Monday, August 15th, 2022 at 4:30. Any topics for future meetings?
Is that gonna be another joint meeting, or is that a That's the next board date though.
Just finance though too.
It's just finance at 4:30 unless we feel there's something else.
So after the last meeting, it's gonna be tourism first,
Mhm.
then finance,
Yes,
and then the board.
Oh yeah, we have to have tourism again.
So we gotta make sure we have that outlined right.
Okay.
It's three.
Bring a sandwich.
Yeah.
Bring a sandwich.
And hyperlinks.
yes, I will.
Okay.
All right, remarks from staff?
We did get our ARPA funds, on June 9th. We received the second half. We received $1.1 million. So we have received the full amount that the federal government said that we would get, so that was good news. This is Saw. Song is
Welcome to Weston, Song.
Yep, welcome aboard.
his replacement.
I think you live in Weston already, right?
I live in Wausau.
Oh, Wausau, doesn't matter, yeah, in the area, yeah, that's right. Welcome to the village, so glad to have you. Okay, I did take a little heat from your mayor, your former mayor, and I just laughed at him and went like this, so anyway, I really did not, but
I got some comments.
yeah,
from
I
someone.
said, hey, we didn't solicit, they came over here, so he was fine. Okay,
Remarks from committee members?
remarks from board members?
Announcements?
I'm sorry, hold on. We did have two people join us.
They want to speak at the board meeting.
At the board, right, okay, yep.
Motion to adjourn the finance meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been approved. Vote?
You want to? We have to vote, yeah.
Go ahead, we have to vote it out.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
All right, motion for adjournment of the board of trustees,
Motion.
Second.
by Cronin, second by Ermeling. Any more in the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried, we are adjourned. 2 minutes.